What is something that people still think is legal but actually isn't? In the UK, you can buy cannabis seeds, but germinating them is illegal. This feels like a setup. In Austria, you can buy the plants around 2 weeks old as well as grow them for an aesthetic purposes. Example, you can grow them but don't consume it. However, once the plant starts generating THC, it's illegal. Double-edged sword if you ask me. There is no one free phone call. By law, the police have to give you as many phone calls as you need to contact an attorney. I got arrested once and they put me in a communal holding cell with a couple phones that people could use all they wanted. Local calls only, which sucked since I was out of town. It is legal to buy and sell tickets to R-rated movies to those under 17. The policy is a self-regulation imposed by theaters and movie distributors. Same applies to buying M-rated video games. Most stores have a policy of not selling M-rated games to children under 17, but it's not backed by any law. This is true for the US. Having a poker or card game where you're playing for money. A lot of people think it needs to be a clandestine thing, but in many or all US states, it's not illegal to gamble for money in your own home as long as the house isn't taking a cut. My certainty about this is restricted to New York. You're pretty much right. It's just an exchange of money between friends. The legal issues arise from not reporting income, either as a business, which would be the house taking a cut, or even just a guy whose friends give him a bunch of money for winning at games. That's still income. If I remember right, it's not illegal to fake your death, but it is illegal if you collect insurance on it, or using it as a means to get out of a legal responsibility like debt, alimony, etc. But if you don't do that, then what's the point of faking it? There was a man who had his name scrubbed off the 9/11 memorial. It's widely believed he faked his death during the event. The government found him, but has protected his new identity aside from quietly scrubbing his name from the memorial listing. Jaywalking in the UK. In fact, there is no such thing as jaywalking. You can cross the street whenever you want. Was in London last November and asked a cop where I could cross the street. He gave me this look that I clearly implied, "What the heck did this idiot just ask me?" Looked up and down the street and said, "Anywhere, as long as it's safe." He then smiled and walked away. I bet he had fun making fun of the stupid American couple later that night. Owning a tank. Completely legal in the US and UK, though I believe you need a tracked vehicle license, and the cannon has to be deactivated. You need rubber tracks, called parade tracks officially in the US, in order to drive it on the road. But once you do that, you can even take it on the highway. Drink a bottle of beer while driving in Germany. You can do it, but if you have too much blood alcohol after that beer, you are screwed. Denmark too. You can have as much open alcohol in your car as you want, as long as you don't drink too much. To think that you can't even have an open beer in the US boggles my mind. I inquired at a cremation facility I was doing work at, network technician, before anyone gets any funny ideas. And in my area, it is completely legal to have a Viking-style funeral, like with a flaming arrow shot at a boat that the body is in. The only real restrictions are A, you have to do it somewhere it's not going to cause a panic, like a small tributary or back river, not at the shore during peak tourist season, for example, and B, you have to have a fire marshal in attendance, just in case it gets out of control. Growing weed in the UK. You have to apply for a license, and they don't advertise it. So far, only MPs' relatives have been granted them, though. Let me confirm for all of my constituents. If nepotism exists in this organization, me and my brothers will root it out. It's not illegal to wear military uniforms. It's not even illegal to lie about serving. It's only illegal if you're using it to manipulate, gain, or profit in your favor. I've seen enough videos on YouTube to know that it will get you yelled at and humiliated, though. Saying you're not a cop. If you are a cop and someone asks if you are a cop. Really, in general, it's completely legal for law enforcement to lie to you, but not the other way around. I believe it is legal to lie to local and state police, just not the FBI. It's legal to remove mattress tags. It's only illegal if the seller removes the tags before trying to sell it. It's even written on the tag itself. Quote unquote, under penalty of law, this tag is to not be removed except by the consumer. Edit. To address the approximately 10,000 responses I've received on the subject, I'm aware that the wording was added to the tags relatively recently. Thank you. In Ontario, on multi-lane highways, the yellow lane dividers for one directions are sometimes dashed, single solid, or double solid. You can cross those yellow lines legally, any of them, even if the solid yellow and double solid yellow. They are just indicators of risk. Solid dash means it's safe for the dash side, but risky for the solid side. Single solid means it's risky for both sides. Double solid means it's very risky for both sides. But there is no punishment for crossing such yellow lines in the Ontario Highway Traffic Act. White lines, however, it is illegal to cross a solid white line. I sense this question was constructed to create a forum for you to share your arcane knowledge of Ontario traffic law. We're on to you. There's some arcane law down here in the south that says it is illegal to molest alligators, which, yeah, funny, you realize that molest doesn't have to be sexual. Probably no one ever sexually molested an alligator. They mean don't poke them with sticks and throw rocks at them. I actually saw a news story this week about some cops searching for some people who were throwing carrots at an alligator. The penalty was something like $500 per carrot thrown. It was actually $200 per carrot, but still. Ignorance of the law is a valid excuse, provided you're a cop. Quote, in a splintered 8-1 ruling, the court found that cops who pulled over Nicholas Hine for a broken taillight were justified in a subsequent search of Hine's car, even though North Carolina law says that having just one broken taillight is not a violation of the law. The ruling means that police did not violate Hine's rights, that they later searched his car and found cocaine, and that the cocaine evidence can't be suppressed at a later trial. If anybody should know the law, it's the cops. How the hell does this make any sense? Having a copy of the original movie, song, or game that you bought. People keep saying that it's illegal to have a copy of something like that, but that's not true if you already paid for it once. So long as that the copy is for personal use only, I think that's where most people run into problems. Many seem to think that buying something gives them the right to copy it and distribute it to whomever they want. You can copy it, that's fine, but selling or otherwise sharing it is a no-no. Edit. So many people seem to think I'm an expert in all things copyright for some reason. Ask a copyright lawyer all your complicated questions. I really just know the basics. Ignoring the person who wants to check your bags on the way out of Walmart. Just totally ignore them and walk right by. You gave Walmart your money, so now that bag of stuff belongs to you, and nobody has the right to search through your own bag of stuff. However, they can retaliate by permanently banning you from the store. But it isn't likely to happen unless some employee causes a giant stink about wanting to check your receipt and gets management involved, or if a manager is nearby. Driving while the passenger has the headlight on. That was just something your mom would tell you, right? My mom didn't tell me that, but I looked it up later and found out it wasn't true. However, it is very annoying to drive with lights on in the car at night. It's distracting, so no, not illegal, but super annoying. Getting fired without cause. Unless you can prove it was due to a federally protected right, such as religion or age, then it's totally illegal. Unless you live in a just cause state, I believe there are only 7, then you are in an at-will state, which is what made this possible. The ratio of states used to be much different. The bonus of at-will employment is that your employer can do fuck all if you decide to just quit at any moment. Was your workplace in the middle of a crisis and desperate for your assistance? Was there a bunch of work piled up on you that would cause huge problems if it was just abandoned or had to be divvied up amongst your busy coworkers? Doesn't matter. Your employer can't make you stay or sue for damages or anything. You can just leave. Photography. I get harassed by ignorant people quite often when I go out to take pictures. You're allowed to take pictures of just about whatever you want when in a public space. You are even allowed to take pictures of private things such as houses or whatnot from public spaces. Edit. Amazing to see the misconceptions in these replies. I get there are exceptions in gray areas, especially regarding equipment, but it doesn't make photography any less legal. For the record, I don't condone creep shots or being a prick with your camera, as I find the paparazzi appalling, but it is still legal. Yep, you can film and take pictures in a public space. There are too many people who think that you need their permission. Nope, you are in public. However, if you are in a private or company-owned property, like a store, that's different. Being a cannibal. It's illegal to kill someone, destroy a dead body, etc., but it isn't illegal to do the act of eating human flesh. Just that in order to do it, you need to break 12 other laws. Edit. Stop upvoting. I don't want my top-rated comment to be instructions on how to legally eat people. The first episode of the Australian show Rake deals with a lawyer defending a cannibal. They bring up the fact that cannibalism isn't technically illegal in about half the states and territories. In Canada, prostitution is technically legal. However, solicitation of prostitution is illegal, as is running a brothel and pimping, so in practice, it's almost impossible to engage in it legally. Also, in a similar vein, it's legal to download MP3s. We have a blank media tax that's designed to compensate media creators for any downloading in place of banning it, though obviously this has worked better 20 years ago than today. It is, however, illegal to upload them.
Watch our other videos and subscribe cause you're not a scrub.